Hello, very welcome to all of you to WEF 2016. Now we are about to start our session. Yet lead speaker has not come, but we'll start anyway. Uh, our today topic is leadership, vision, planning, and culture building within the movement. Uh, there are four speakers. One is Jyotika Bedi, which is the lead speaker. There are three panelists: Margaret Orain and Sabangu and Carrie Egg, and they will be sharing their thoughts regarding this topic. So I would like to invite Margaret Orain. Please, ma'am, come forward and have your thoughts.
Thank you very much, Marguerite Orain. I am Jamaican by birth and Canadian by residence and now naturalized. So I have this interesting mix of cultures. Um, so, leadership, vision, planning, and culture building, I would take it from my perspective, which is where we all come from, which is my business perspective. My whole background has been in business and the importance. When I volunteered for this panel, the reason was this word vision, which in the work I've been doing, I really realize is of tantamount importance. Um, so it's always my starting point personally and professionally, and I would put forward that it ought to be the starting point for any movement, that vision, because as we know, if you don't know where you want to go, any road will get you there. And the approach to vision that I advocate is one of describing it in what I call excruciating detail so that you flesh out the details. Sometimes visions are sort of very high level stated and tend to be so vague that they become meaningless. And I think that's okay in terms of a tagline, but in terms of actually drilling down to what you really want to achieve, I think it's important to do it in excruciating detail. So, a well articulated vision has got to be the first step for any movement. And if we think about back to any movement, we know that someone got up and said, "This is where we want to go." The second part is the issue around culture. And that always fascinates me because we accept culture as something that is, and it's such a very fluid thing. And I've always said, well, if culture changes, then it can change consciously because culture is always changing, it's always evolving. So, therefore, in my book and in my experience, it is something that we can consciously change. And I think that that actually starts from that vision. Part of that vision ought to be, what kind of culture do you want? How do you want people to behave? How do people work together? How do people collaborate or not? And I think that might be a missing link as one builds a movement to really take care of the culture, to nurture it. Well, first of all, to be clear on it, and it needs to be clear in terms of the values that you're espousing, and then to nurture it and build it. Planning follows. I won't say much on planning. A lot of people start with planning first, and I think that that actually comes last. Because once you're clear on vision and culture, a lot of things naturally flow from it, which is always interesting. People are galvanized and they do the right thing because the right thing has been clearly defined. So the detailed planning that we think is necessary may not be as necessary as we think it is. And the final part is and I think it's the most important part. I don't think so, I know that, is the issue around leadership. And leadership in terms of, yes, the vision and the culture, but really taking ownership and walking the talk, um, acting in integrity, taking the high road, um, being there to help, resolve conflict, create situations where conflict doesn't arise, and to make sure that the vision and culture are aligned and that people are acting in alignment. I think when leadership takes that type of role, then there is less conflict, there's less hands on requirement, although you will have that in the beginning. And the movement takes on its own momentum. And I think there comes a point in time when the leadership or the leader has to let go and allow the momentum of the movement. If you think about the word movement and momentum, they come from the same root, to just move along. And it will move along. It may not move along in the way that you would like it exactly, but that's part of leadership, which is being willing to say, hey, my way is not the only way. But you know what? Here, we're clear on where we're going. So, in terms of, I'm not sure what the movement is. I've made some general comments here about how I view leadership, vision, planning, and culture building. And perhaps I'll hand over to Carrie because maybe she can give more perspective on the movement.
Thank you very much. My name is Kari, not Carrie, but Egge with the E at the end of the, of the egg. Yes, I'm from Norway, and I'm actually the founder and CEO of Half the World, Women, Knowledge, Leadership, a Norwegian social enterprise which I established in 2013 after retiring from the UN after 20 years in the field as a leader. So that's a little bit about me. But taking over, I actually thought I should use my own enterprise as the example because I've gone through exactly what you said. Establishing the vision, defining the mission, also defining the area, the focus of what I wanted to do, and then, of course, the planning, which is, as you said, it's a moving target, and it changes all the time. So I'm a little bit in disagreement with you in terms of the vision, because I think you need to think big. Dream big, think big. And what we say about mission is very much in the leadership theory that great leaders looks around the corner. They're always looking for a new way of doing things. They're always stretching themselves, and they're all revising their vision to fit with the ongoing developments and also the world we are living in. So my vision is for half the world, and the half the world is of course a symbol on what we are actually embarking on. There are more women in the world than men. I'll lift it. It's a little bit, I'm not sure it's on or not, you know? It's on. Okay, then I'll keep it here. We are more men than women in the world. I think it's 52 against 48%. So we are more than half the world. But when it comes to leadership, 4% of leadership positions in the top leadership position in the world are held by women. 4%. Means 96% are held by men. So there is an imbalance in leadership in this common enterprise that we're in, the movement we can call it, if we call ourselves the part of the global movement. So when I decided on what to do, I decided to do leadership for women. In order to give the women the opportunities, which they haven't had because they have already been excluded from opportunities for centuries. And then looking at my vision is full gender equality from local to global levels by 2030. And the 2030 coincides with the Sustainable Development Goals, which all the countries in the world have signed up to. And they signed up to gender goal number 5, where there is a target among the 18 targets called women leadership. So I said, okay, that sounds good for me. I have 30 years of leadership experience myself, and I want to use it for women of the world. So that's my vision. It's actually to realize gender equality, which of course is way beyond what I can do alone. But there's something that the movement can do together. So my mission then, which is the next step before the planning, is to contribute to social transformation by offering leadership development programs for women. I'm offering it at introductory level, which is the junior level, because we need to grow the underwood. We have to give the young women the opportunities to enter leadership positions at the junior level in order for them to grow into top leaders at the top level. We're doing the management middle level leadership programs, which is another part of the mission, in order to let women who have already reached middle level the opportunities to grow into top leaders. And then, of course, investing in top leaders to become better leaders in order to grow their opportunities, that they develop their potential, but also to realize their potentials in safe environments. And when I say safe environments and why we focus on women, is exactly the opportunities for women to develop and grow within a safe environment, where they're not threatened, they were not man-planed, as some of you may have seen the Facebook video on man-planning. I was sitting in a session yesterday where we had two examples from the same man doing it, and afterwards she came to hug me. And then I thought, okay, that's the third time he's man-planning. Man-planning, for those of you who don't know what it is when men interrupt you while you're speaking, when he's waving at somebody in the back of the room while he's still talking to you, or he's trying to explain you. So you're there on his terms rather than your terms. So this was a little bit of a digression. But in any way, my goal then, which is the next step, now we have gone from the vision to the mission. So my goal is actually to train 25,000 women by 2030. 25,000 women leaders in this world. And how? It's a strategy through online leadership programs for women. You have to use the technology. You have to use the platforms which are available. Then combined with mentoring, combined with direct contact. And I'm trying it out now. So I had 1,600 women on leadership programs while we're sitting here. Free leadership programs through the internet. And there are 20 more signing up every day. India is one of the countries where I have many clients, all women, who want to go through these kind of programs. Which shows that there is a commitment to leadership among women if they get the opportunity to learn.